Well, look at down in Texas and also in Georgia now, a close by state, with the execution of Troy Davis, turning that into a public spectacle to appease the mob, to give them violence and amusement, to appease them, in other words. So the political process is not about voting for stuff that people want. It's about politicians trying to stop the mob from rising up and killing them.
Well, yeah, it's Schwarzenegger with a broom, a prop, Perry with a giant hatchet. I'm going to cut, when he more than doubled the Texas government in 10 years. I mean, it is all about BS. I mean, you could literally use the bathroom in a box, put it in a pretty bow, and the average yuppie would open it up, and you'd say, here's some chocolate. They'd open it up, it would stink, but they would say, but the package says it's candy. They'd get a fork and start eating it. I mean, people have got to wake up. You know, I'm seeing two things happen, Max. Either people are getting more into a trance, or they're getting more and more awake, and these two are really starting to clash. And I see the system trying to bring in more and more tyranny on the backs of this. I'm sure you've seen the article. It's at prisonplanet.com. Also, British papers are reporting it. The VeriSign, the global domain register that the government's given the power to do this, they're saying no judge, no jury, no nothing. Anytime a private group, UN group, government group wants your website taken, no appeal, no nothing, it's just taken extrajudicially, and they're admitting this is the new global kill switch. So I see them also just more and more disappearing information.
Yeah, well, it's just managing that volume of traffic, because people are on sites and they're clicking around social networking sites like Twitter and LinkedIn and Facebook, which now have market valuations of 50, 100, 200 billion dollars, and they're owned in large part by Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan. You know, JP Morgan has a big position in Twitter. And so they need to steer that volume of traffic in ways that are consistent with their agenda, which is to impoverish as many people as possible. JP Morgan, of course, is the bank behind the swipe card that is America's food stamp program, what they call it, the EBT, I think it's called, electronic benefit transfer. That is a JP Morgan product. So they got you at the poor end of the scale. And if you have your wealth managed with them, as we know with the Bank of New York scandal, stealing money out of every single transaction, they control 25 trillion in assets. They took 0.3% of every transaction now going back decades. They're hooked in with Morgan and the whole Wall Street crowd, just siphoning money off, high-frequency trading, just siphoning money every single day.
And that's why they're forcing all of us into a government-mandated cashless society, because now they're not just going to siphon little bits here, and they're going to rape us 7 ways to Sunday, and they think they're going to get away with it as long as they shovel UFC and football and public executions at us.
Every movement, every transaction, every interaction, you know, and I think another prediction I made on your show a while ago, which I'm still think will come true, is that the copyright industry is so pernicious and their ability to read emails now is so pervasive that pretty soon at the end of the month, you'll get a bill from Microsoft or whomever that'll say, you used this copyrighted word 10 times in your emails last month, you owe us 50 cents.
Oh, yeah, no, actually, they've had companies suing now over message boards and things where people even post a paragraph or a headline.
So, and Facebook is trying to trademark the word face. Twitter is trademarking the word tweet. And now as you use these words, there's a record of it electronically, and you'll be charged for the use of that word. But since you're already broke, and you don't have any money to pay for your right to use those words, guess what? They'll loan you the money. And well,
that was my next point. They now, as you know, have the Department of Education outside of jurisdiction without police force. There is no law. You can go to jail for the debt. SWAT teaming and kicking down doors illegally in California, trying to intimidate people, saying, pay your student loans. You've got Bank of America caught taking houses they never even had a deed to that were paid for. I mean, we've just got to wake up and realize what a group of lawless criminals these are. Now, I want to plug some of the interesting things you've got coming up, Clickonomics, Ireland's first economics festival, and other things. But I want to close with this big economic development that's come out. John Major, as you know, the former Prime Minister of England, who actually helped ram through the Maastricht Treaty that brought England without a vote into the euro, and you have that unelected bureaucracy in over 70% of British laws and European laws. Now the private interests are saying, give us tens of trillions or we'll just implode the economy. They're not even saying it's to help the poor anymore. They've just dispensed with that, the super euro, super state forming. They're bemoaning on Bloomberg and CNBC that Germany's too democratic and the Germans don't want to fit the bill for it. The Major comes out and shifts and says, I was wrong. I've got his quotes here. You know, this thing's corrupt. It's taken our sovereignty. It's destroyed the city of London. It's all moving to Europe. And we've got to basically get out of the EU. What do you make of this? I mean, these guys, big insiders, don't even like what they've set in motion. I'm seeing a lot of panicking and a lot of infighting in the ruling class you don't normally see. Max, what do you make of this?
Well, it's deflation. The banking balance sheets are disintegrating, and the UK is dealing with it with austerity. And this austerity, after 2 years, is causing rioting. London riots, where thousands are out in the streets. The living standards are collapsing, so they're panicking. Same thing all across continental Europe. And Germany is suggesting that maybe it would just opt out of the euro completely. So those old ancient animosities in Europe between the UK, Germany, France, all over Europe are resurfacing as the euro falls apart due to the banking system collapse. That was a foregone conclusion because it was entirely built on faulty assumptions to begin with, thanks to the false accounting fraud that was perpetrated by groups like Goldman Sachs, who famously hid billions in Greek debt.
So as this goes cattywampus, as it goes foobar, the banksters are in a pickle of their own making. What do you make of Major coming out and saying England needs to get out? I mean, if England leaves, won't that really trigger the implosion of Europe? And then the banksters won't get this new superstate on top of it. What then happens? Where does the contagion move?
It is disintegrating, but they will get their pan-European bond market, their federalization of the Eurozone, because they're going to play the panic card. And people are losing their jobs and they're panic-stricken. And they're using the disaster capitalism model. They'll usher in this new layer of bureaucracy, the new taxes, a new Euro central bank facility. They already talked, remember Davos last year or the year before. It was big news because they openly suggested that what the world needs is a fresh $100 trillion credit line. And that's ultimately what the U.S. and Europe are going to put together. A brand new $100 trillion credit line.
And the Republicans have Herman Cain saying we'll have a new sales tax paid directly to the Federal Reserve. And conservatives are like, yeah, gang rape me. I mean, these people are pathetic.
He's a former Kansas City central banker.
But why are mainline conservatives so into getting gang raped? I mean, why do they love getting conned? Just like the central bankers that robbed everybody are demanding trillions in new taxes in Europe through VAT and sales tax. I mean, how can conservatives go, yeah, let's pay our fair share to Wall Street? I mean, they worship it so much, the corporate fascist. It's just insane. I mean,
okay, look, Alex, let me tell you my story, which I told before, and explains the mentality. When the first tower and the World Trade Towers went down, there was a broker in the second tower. He had a choice. He could escape or he could stay and trade airline put options to try to make money. Because he's a suicide banker, he stayed, he died, but he left $5 million in unclaimed money in that Alex Brown Deutsche Bank account. It's right there in the 9/11 official government report. I call him Broker Zero. He's a suicide broker, and it's the same mentality amongst the entire banking class. They're suicidal jihadi bankers who kill themselves and everyone around them because they want to make a profit, which to them is their Allah, their God, their belief in the market fundamentalism, as it's called. And that's what they do. They do it because they're actually suicidal. They're actually...
Yeah, that's profound. That's profound. So they can totally take over. They're going to wreck everything, including their own futures.
They're suicidal, pathological, and that's why this movement, Occupy Wall Street, and global insurrection against banker occupation, it needs to kick it up and get in gear, because you've got psychopaths that are hell-bent on killing themselves and everyone around them, including Jamie Dimon is the worst suicidal banker out there.
Well, Max Keiser, amazing. I appreciate you spending so much time with us. MaxKeiser.com. Of course, our websites are prisonplanet.tv and Infowars.com. People can find out about all your great media events, the things you're doing at MaxKeiser.com. Briefly, tell us about the Economic Congress event you've got coming up there in Ireland.
Yeah, two things, Alex. One is the Kilkenomics Festival in Kilkenny, Ireland, November 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. It's a festival by David McWilliams. It brings together economists like Jeffrey Sachs with comedians from Ireland who interact and try to make sense of everything. And the second thing I'm doing is I'm restaging the famous Bed-In with John and Yoko Ono, except it's going to be Max and Stacy. We're going to be going to the same hotel room in Amsterdam, the Hilton Amsterdam Hotel, room 902, and we're going to restage the Bed-In. And our message is that all we are saying is let the banks fail. And if you want to donate $5 to this effort, and I want one of your reporters to go to Amsterdam and to help pay for that, if somebody wants to donate $5, go to piratemyfilm.com or go to maxkeiser.com, and you'll see how to do that.
Well, I've seen Sean. I think I saw a photo online with his girlfriend doing it, but I like the fact that the girl was the one who was unrobed.
Sean Ono Lennon, the talented offspring of John and Yoko. Okay, I met with him in Paris recently. He's part of the brainstorm behind this event. He'll be there, hopefully, to participate in this as well. It's going to be in November, so we're restaging.
But you're not going to be naked, though.
I might be. I can't tell you all the specifics, Alex. But your reporter should be there to capture this event.
My reporters won't get cooties.
Your reporters will be enlightened by participating in this epic restaging of this
by
classic.
seeing your baboon butt.
Well, I mean, to each his own.
I'm just joking, Max. Hey, you're awesome. That's a great idea. Say hi to Sean and all the great folks there. That is very, very interesting. And it's great to have you here with us. And it's great to see so many people picking up on the fact that this is a banker occupation, a bankster occupation, and not an occupation by capitalism. We've left capitalism, and that's the problem we're facing. Max Keiser, thanks for joining us.
Always a pleasure, Alex Jones.
Wow, long extended interview. What a gigantic Infowars Nightly News we've had tonight. I'm so blind looking into that light, I can't even see where the camera is. Where is it out there? I think it's over there. That's it for Infowars Nightly News, ladies and gentlemen. And Lord Winter will be back tomorrow night, 7 o'clock Central, with another extended information warfare packed transmission. If you're not a prisonplanet.tv member, you're not catching these when they first air at 7 p.m. or all my films and 8.5 years of material, become a subscriber at prisonplanet.tv today and not only get instant and more access to this info, but also support the exploding alternative media. We're not like MSNBC that takes banker bailout money secretly, your tax money, to fund ourselves. We are funded by you, subscribers to this show at prisonplanet.tv. I'm Alex Jones signing off from the front lines of the InfoWar.